Good morning. Rachel Remen, who is a psychiatrist, works with metastasized cancer patients in the Bay Area, tells about having a young man, a relatively young person, referred to her from the workshop that deals with imagery. In studying and helping cancer patients, there's the technique of letting people imagine something that would help to be on their side and be a partner with them as they fight the cancer. And so he went, this particular organization, he had gone there and he hadn't had a very successful experience. And so they decided to refer him to Dr. Remen. And so she was sitting with him, and she asked him about the experience. And he said, well, it was a bad experience. He said it was bad from the very beginning, because they were supposed to find some kind of something to help that would eat up whatever it was the cancer cells, and they were supposed to be imaging this. And this recommendation of the leaders, as well as many of the people, was that a shark is a good example. So you have sharks swimming in your immune system, and they eat up all of the cancer cells and they destroy them. But he couldn't do that. That wasn't something that spoke to him, and he wasn't able to do that. And he had an image that wasn't working very well, and they kept pushing him that he had to have this stronger, more man-eating type of image, and he didn't have it, and he was fighting this all the time. And Rachel Remen asked him to talk about it, and he said, well, the image I had wasn't vicious enough. It wasn't strong enough. And then she said, well, what was it? And he said, well, it was of a catfish. And she said, tell me about a catfish. And he said, well, catfish, they're bottom feeders. They feed on the bottom of the stream, and they go around, and they're vigilant, and they're tenuous. I mean, they stick with it. They go everywhere. They move to everything, and they're faithful. They work all the time. They have the ability to change directions. They have this ability to do this kind of thing, mine was a picture of a catfish, and the catfish was eating it up. And he said they didn't like it, and I can't do what they want. And she said, well, tell me more about the catfish. And he said, well, the catfish is faithful. He said, in fact, I'll tell you something that almost embarrasses me. I grew up back in the Midwest, and back there's lots of catfish, and they're in the streams. And sometimes the catfish can move across the land from one little stream to another stream. And he said, I couldn't believe it when I heard it. And he said, I went and I watched it, and I watched as they did that. And in a sense, they became my pet. And she said, well, what is a pet in your mind? And a pet, he said, is something that loves you and cares for you and will do whatever it can to help you. That's a pet. And she said, well, go ahead and begin to use this idea of the catfish going around on the bottom and picking up all of the extraneous things that are there that don't belong there. And believe that in your heart that this is going to help you. And so he was able to practice this particular image of the catfish, and he did it for a year, and he got into full recovery. And she said that he's been out in recovery for a long, long time, and that since he's been there for several years. But each week he goes back several times during the week and relives this image, because it gives him a sense of the life force that's in him, that there's something inside of him that wants to live, and he's willing, and he's found a way to help it do that. Oh, wouldn't that be nice for all of us? Have a life force that could help us learn to live. I'm praying that you'll find an image of God, or an image of something that can help you clean up the bottom of your life, where life's not going well, but can set you free. I'm believing God can do that for us this morning. God bless you.